The alarm screamed through the empty halls of Research Station 47. Hannah dropped her coffee and ran to the control room. Her fingers flew across the screens. A ship, damaged, drifting right toward her station. She pulled up the readings. The vessel was small, clearly not human. Its hull was torn open in 3 places. Life signs showed weak but present. Hannah bit her lip. She was alone out here, 2 weeks from the nearest human outpost. But she couldn't just watch someone die in space. "This is Station 47, she said into the com. "I'm reading your distress signal. I can bring you in." No response. Just static and the hiss of a dying ship. Hannah worked fast. She extended the docking claws and pulled the damaged vessel into her bay. As the airlock sealed, she grabbed her medical kit and ran down the corridor. Her heart pounded. She had never seen a living alien before. Sure, she studied them through samples and videos, but this was different. The airlock door opened with a hiss of cold air. 3 small figures stood in the doorway. They looked like lions that had learned to walk on 2 legs. Golden fur covered their bodies. Their eyes were large and amber-colored. Each one had a mane of darker fur around their neck and shoulders. But they were small. Children. Hannah realized with shock that the tallest one, a male, stepped forward. He bared sharp teeth at her. "Stay back, human." His voice cracked as he spoke. "We are Kaleri. We are warriors." Behind him, a smaller male tried to puff out his chest. His whole body shook. The smallest one, a female with bright eyes, growled low in her throat. But Hannah could see her tail trembling. "I'm not going to hurt you," Hannah said softly. She held up her empty hands. "I'm Hannah. I want to help." "We not need help." The tall one snarled. "We strong. We protect our ship." Hannah's eyes moved past them into the ship. Through the doorway, she could see a larger figure lying in a medical pod. The screens around the pod blinked red. Warning lights flashed. "Is that your family?" Hannah asked gently. "They look hurt. I have medical supplies." "I can. Oh." All 3 cubs shouted together. They moved as one, blocking the doorway with their bodies. The tall one raised his clawed hands. "You not touch. You stay away." Hannah took a step back. She studied the 3 young aliens. They were terrified. She could see it in their wide eyes, in the way they pressed close together. But they stood their ground like tiny soldiers. "Okay," she said slowly. "I'll stay here. But your friend in there needs help. Those red lights mean danger. We know danger." The smallest female snapped. Her voice was high and fierce. "We Kaleri warriors. We face danger every day. We not afraid." But her eyes told a different story. The tall male looked back at the medical pod. For just a moment, his fierce expression broke. Fear flashed across his face. Then he turned back to Hannah and snarled again. "Go away, human. We not want you here." Hannah felt her chest tighten. These were children. Scared children trying so hard to be brave. And somewhere behind them, an adult was dying. "What are your names?" she asked. The tall one hesitated. Then he lifted his chin. "I am Tay. This is Minho. That is Yuna. We guard Ambassador Kira. She is." His voice wavered. "She is strong Kaleri leader. We protect her." "That's very brave of you," Hannah said. She meant it. "You 3 are doing an amazing job." Tay's eyes narrowed with suspicion. You think we brave?" "I know you are," Hannah said. "You protected your ship. You protected Ambassador Kira. You didn't run away when I opened the door. That takes real courage." Minho and Yuna glanced at each other. Something softened in their faces for just a second. Then Tay hissed, and they snapped back to attention. We not fall for human tricks. Tay said, we stay here. We guard. You go away. Hannah looked at the medical pod again. The red lights blinked faster now. She had maybe a day, maybe less, before whoever was in that pod would die. And these 3 children wouldn't let her close enough to help. All right, she said quietly. I'll go. But I'll be just outside if you need anything. Food, water, medical supplies. Anything at all. We not need anything from human. Yuna shouted, but her stomach growled loudly at that exact moment. Her ears flattened against her head in embarrassment. Hannah pretended not to notice. She backed away slowly, keeping her movements calm and steady. The 3 cubs watched her with those huge amber eyes until she reached the corridor. Then Tay slammed the airlock door shut. The sound echoed through the empty station. Hannah stood in the corridor for a long moment. She pressed her hand against the cold metal door. On the other side, she heard whispered voices. Young voices trying to sound strong. She closed her eyes and made a decision. She would save that ambassador. And she would save these 3 brave, terrified children too. Even if they didn't want to be saved. But first, she needed a plan. Hannah sat on the floor outside the airlock door with a tray of food. Steam rose from the bowls. She had made simple things: rice, cooked vegetables, protein bars. She didn't know what Kaleri ate, but these were safe foods for most species. I'm leaving this here, she called through the door. You don't have to take it, but it's here if you want it. No answer came from inside, but she heard small footsteps moving around. Whispers in a language she didn't understand. She walked away, back to her quarters. Then she did something that made her feel guilty. She pulled up the security cameras. The station had sensors throughout for safety reasons. She told herself she needed to monitor the situation. But really, she just wanted to see if the cubs were okay. The screen showed the inside of the docking bay. Tay stood by the door, his ear pressed against it. He listened for a long time. When he seemed sure Hannah was gone, he cracked the door open just a little. His clawed hand reached out and grabbed the tray. He pulled it inside so fast the bowls almost spilled. Hannah watched as the 3 cubs gathered around the food. They sniffed it carefully. Yuna poked at the rice with one claw. Minho picked up a vegetable and examined it like it might explode. It could be poison, Tay said. Hannah could hear them through the audio feed. I'm hungry, Minho whispered. His voice was so small and sad. Warriors don't complain about hunger, Tay snapped. But his own stomach growled. Yuna took a tiny bite of rice. She chewed slowly. Her eyes went wide. It's good, she said, sounding surprised. That was all it took. All 3 cubs began eating quickly, stuffing food into their mouths. They ate like they hadn't had a real meal in days. They probably hadn't, Hannah realized. How long had they been drifting in that broken ship? When the food was gone, the cubs took turns sleeping. One always stayed awake, watching the door and checking on Ambassador Kira's pod. Hannah watched them through the night. They were so small, so young, and so determined to be strong. Over the next 2 days, Hannah established a routine. She brought food 3 times a day. She left it outside the door and walked away. The cubs always took it. She started talking to them through the door while she waited. My name is Hannah, she said on the 2nd day. I study aliens. Well, I study all kinds of life, really. That's why I'm out here alone. To watch and learn. Silence from the other side. I know your Kaleri, she continued. I've read about your people. You're warriors. Very strong. Very brave. Your whole culture is built on courage. She heard movement. Someone was listening. But I've been wondering something, Hannah said softly. Is it brave to refuse help when someone you love is dying? The movement stopped. I mean, in my culture, we have warriors too. We have soldiers. And you know what the bravest thing a soldier can do is? Ask for backup when they need it. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. You don't understand. Tay's voice came through the door suddenly. You're human. You're soft. You don't know what it means to be Kalari. You're right, Hana admitted. I don't know what it means to be Kalari, but I know what it means to be scared and alone. We're not scared, Yuna shouted. But her voice shook. Hana pressed her hand against the door. It's okay to be scared, she said gently. Fear doesn't make you weak. Everyone gets scared. Even humans. Even warriors. Kalari warriors never show fear, Tay said. But he sounded less certain now. Our teachers told us. Weakness means death. If we show fear, we die. Who told you that? Hana asked. Everyone, Minho said quietly. All Kalari know this. Hana felt anger rise in her chest. What kind of people taught children that being afraid was shameful? But she kept her voice calm. Let me tell you about human history, she said. We've had thousands of wars. We fought each other and aliens and nature itself. And you know what we learned? She waited, and this time, she heard them move closer to the door. We learned that the strongest warriors are the ones who can admit when they're hurt. The bravest soldiers are the ones who ask for help. Because winning alone is impossible. Survival needs teamwork. But we're supposed to be strong, Yuna whispered. You are strong, Hana said firmly. You've kept Ambassador Kira alive for days in a broken ship. You protected her when you docked here. You didn't run away. That's incredible strength. But Tay, Minho, Yuna, strength isn't the same as invincibility. And asking for help isn't surrender. The door stayed closed. But Hana heard soft sounds from the other side. Was someone crying? They were trying to muffle it. Ambassador Kira's medical pod shows she has less than 12 hours, Hana said quietly. The station computer had given her the update that morning. I can save her. I have the medicine and the skills. But only if you let me in. If we let you in, we are weak, Tay said. His voice cracked. Kalari don't. We can't. You can, Hana said. And you know what? No one ever has to know. This is my station. There are no other Kalari here. No one to judge you. Just 3 cubs who love their guardian enough to do whatever it takes to save her. She heard whispered conversation in their language. It sounded like an argument. Tay's voice was harsh. Minho sounded like he was pleading. Yuna kept saying the same word over and over. Then silence fell. Hana stood up slowly. I'll be in my quarters, she said. When you're ready, if you're ready, just call for me. I'll come running. She walked away, her heart heavy. She had done all she could with words. Now she had to hope it was enough. Hours passed. Hana tried to work but couldn't focus. She kept checking the time. 10 hours left. 9 hours. 8. Then her cum crackled to life. Human Hana. It was Tay's voice. Small and broken. Please. Please help our guardian. Hana ran. Her medical bag bounced against her side as she sprinted down the corridor. Her hand shook as she entered the code to open the airlock door. The door slid open. The 3 cubs stood inside, watching her. They looked smaller than before. Scared. Tay's shoulders were hunched. Minho had his tail wrapped around his own leg. Yuna couldn't meet Hana's eyes. Thank you for trusting me, Hana said softly. Tay flinched at the word trust. He stepped aside, head low. We are weak, he whispered. We failed as warriors. No, Hana said firmly. She knelt down to his eye level. You succeeded as protectors. There's a difference. She didn't wait for a response. She moved quickly to the medical pod where Ambassador Kira lay. The Kalari adult was larger than the cubs, with a full mane of silver and gold fur. Her breathing was shallow. The screen showed critical failure in multiple systems. "How long has she been like this?" Hannah asked, pulling out her scanner. "Since the attack," Minho said quietly. "Bad ships came. They shot at us. Ambassador Kira put us in the escape pod, but she stayed to fight them. She saved us. Then she got hurt. She protect us," Yuna added. "Always protect us." Hannah's scanner beeped. The readings were bad. Internal bleeding, failing organs, severe radiation poisoning. Ambassador Kira needed surgery, and she needed it now. "I have to operate," Hannah said. "It's going to look scary. There will be blood. But I promise I'll do everything I can to save her." The cubs pressed close together, watching with huge eyes. Hannah worked fast. She set up her portable surgery equipment around the pod. Her hands moved with practiced skill, cutting away damaged tissue, sealing blood vessels, injecting medicine into failing organs. The cubs watched every movement. 2 hours passed. Hannah's arms ached. Sweat dripped down her face. The ship's medical systems were unfamiliar, but she adapted. She used human techniques mixed with what she knew of alien biology. "Why you help us?" Yuna asked suddenly. "We were mean to you. We said bad things." Hannah didn't look up from her work. "Because you needed help," she said simply. "And because I can provide it." "That's reason enough. Humans are strange," Tay muttered. "Maybe," Hannah agreed. "But we're alive because we help each other. We're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest or the smartest. But we survive because we work together." She injected the final dose of medicine and stepped back. Her hands were covered in blue Kalari blood. She was exhausted. But Ambassador Kira's vital signs were stabilizing. Will she live?" Minho asked in a tiny voice. "I think so," Hannah said. She managed a tired smile. "She's tough. She needs rest, but she should recover." All 3 cubs sagged with relief. Yuna made a sound that was half sob, half laugh. Tay's legs seemed to give out, and he sat down hard on the floor. Then Hannah heard something that made her heart break. Minho was crying. Really crying, not just sniffling. His small body shook with sobs. "Stop it," Tay hissed at him. "Warriors don't cry." But Minho couldn't stop. Days of fear and stress were pouring out of him. "It's okay," Hannah said gently. She moved toward him. "No." Tay jumped between them. "Don't touch him. He's embarrassing us. He's being weak." Hannah looked at Tay, really looked at him. The young cub was trembling all over. His eyes were wet. He was barely holding himself together. "Tay," she said softly, "when was the last time you cried?" "I don't cry," he said quickly. "Never. I am warrior." "When was the last time you slept more than 2 hours?" He didn't answer. "When was the last time you felt safe?" His mouth opened, but no sound came out. His tough expression cracked just a little. Behind him, Eunice started crying too. She tried to hide it, covering her face with her paws. But her shoulders shook. Soon she was sobbing as hard as Minho. Tay looked at them. Then he looked at Ambassador Kira, sleeping peacefully now. Then he looked at Hannah. His whole body was shaking. "We were so scared," he whispered. "We thought she would die. We thought we would die. We didn't know what to do. We're just cubs. We're not real warriors. We're just... His voice broke completely. "You're just children," Hannah finished for him. "Brave, amazing children who did everything right." "We cried," Tay said. Tears rolled down his furry cheeks now. "We showed weakness." "No," Hannah said. She knelt down and opened her arms. Not grabbing, not forcing, just offering. "You showed you're alive. You showed you care. You showed you're real. Tay looked at her arms. He looked at Minho and Yuna, both crying openly now. He looked back at Hana. He started. I'm not supposed to. I know, Hana said gently. But who's going to tell? Just us here. Just us in this moment. Tay's legs were shaking. His breath came in short gasps. But I'm the oldest. I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to protect them. And you did, Hana said. You did so well. But even protectors need comfort sometimes. Tay took one step forward, then stopped. His whole body was a war between what he'd been taught and what he needed. It's okay, Hana whispered. It's okay to need a hug. Something inside Tay finally broke. He stumbled forward, and Hana caught him. He buried his face in her shoulder and sobbed. Huge, gasping sobs that shook his entire body. Minho and Yuna rushed over. They pressed against Hana's sides, all three cubs crying together. Hana wrapped her arms around all of them, holding them tight. You're safe, she murmured. You're safe now. You did so well. You're so brave. So brave. They cried for a long time. Years of being told to be strong, to never show fear, to never ask for help. It all came pouring out. And Hana held them through it all, rocking them gently, whispering soft words of comfort. Finally, the sobs faded to sniffles. The cubs pulled back slightly, looking embarrassed. We are sorry, Tay said, wiping his eyes. We should not have. Don't apologize, Hana said firmly. You needed that. And you know what? You're not weaker for crying. You're stronger. Because now you've let go of all that fear. Now you can heal. The cubs looked at each other uncertainly. I won't tell anyone, Hana promised. This is just between us. Slowly, Tay nodded. Then Minho. Then Yuna, and for the first time since they'd arrived, all three cubs smiled. 3 days passed. Ambassador Kira remained in healing sleep while her body recovered. The cubs stayed close to her pod, but they were different now. Softer. They talked more. They even laughed sometimes. Hana brought them meals and they ate together. She taught them human games. She showed them pictures of Earth. They told her about their home world, a place of red sand and 2 suns. Our planet is called Kalara, Minho explained, drawing in the dust on the floor. It's very hot, very dangerous. That's why Kaleri must be strong. Everything there wants to kill you, Yuna added. She sounded proud of this fact. Big predators, poisonous plants, storms that can tear metal. So you learn to be tough to survive, Hana said. Yes, Tay agreed. We cubs don't survive on Kalara. So we train hard. We learn to fight. We never show fear because fear makes you slow. Slow means dead. Hana understood a little better now. The Kaleri weren't cruel. They were shaped by a harsh world. But she still thought there had to be a better way. On the morning of the 4th day, alarms beeped softly. Ambassador Kira was waking up. The cubs rushed to the pod. Hana hung back, letting them have this moment. The pod opened with a hiss of air. Ambassador Kira's eyes opened slowly. They were the same amber color as the cubs, but deeper, wiser. Tay? She said weakly. Minho? Yuna? We're here! Yuna cried out. We're safe. We protected you. Kira tried to sit up. Hana moved forward quickly. Slowly, she warned. You were badly injured. You need to take it easy. Kira's eyes found Hana. They narrowed. Human, she said. It wasn't a question. My name is Hana. You're on my research station. Your ship was damaged and drifted into my space. I brought you in and performed surgery. You're going to be fine. Kira looked at the cubs. They were pressed close to her pod, tails wagging with joy. Then she looked back at Hana. Her expression changed, became harder. "Cubs," she said quietly. "Step away from the human." The cubs froze. "But she saved you," Minho said, confused. "Step away." Kira's voice had command in it. The cubs obeyed slowly, moving to stand beside the pod. Kira sat up fully now, ignoring Hana's protests. She studied each cub carefully. "Are you harmed?" "No, Ambassador," Tay said. "Did you maintain warrior discipline?" The cubs looked at each other. Tay's ears flattened. We tried, Ambassador." "Tried?" Kira's voice went cold. "Did you or did you not show weakness to this human?" The cubs were silent. Hana felt anger rise in her chest. "They were children in a crisis," she said sharply. "They did amazingly well." I was speaking to my students," Kira interrupted. Her eyes stayed on the cubs. "Answer me. Did you show weakness?" Yuna's voice was very small. "Yes, Ambassador." Kira closed her eyes. She looked pained. "You shamed yourselves. You shamed our people. Weakness shown to aliens." She shook her head. "This will follow you forever." "That's ridiculous." Hana stepped forward. The cubs looked at her with wide, frightened eyes. "They survived. They protected you. They were brave enough to ask for help when they needed it." "That's not shameful. You are human," Kira said coldly. "You know nothing of Kalari ways." "Maybe not," Hana shot back. "But I know cruelty when I see it. These cubs went through hell. They watched you dying, and they were terrified, and they still held on as long as they could. They only asked for help when there was no other choice. And you're going to shame them for that? Our ways are not your concern. They became my concern when I saved your life." The room went silent. Kira and Hana stared at each other. The cubs looked between them, scared and confused. Finally, Kira spoke. Her voice was quieter now. "You do not understand. In Kalari society, weakness kills. Cubs who show fear are marked. They are never given important positions, never trusted with critical tasks. These three," she looked at Tay, Minho, and Yuna. "If other Kalari learn what happened here, their futures are ruined." Hana felt her anger drain away. She understood now. Kira wasn't being cruel. She was afraid for them. "Then don't tell anyone," Hana said simply. Kira blinked. "What? Don't tell anyone. This is my station. There are no records except mine, and I'll delete them. No other Kalari we're here to see. It's just us. We can all agree that what happened here stays here." Kira studied her. "Why would you do that?" "Because they're children," Hana said. "And they deserve to have futures." "But Ambassador Kira," she moved closer. "With respect, I think your people need to change. Teaching cubs that fear is shameful, that asking for help is weakness. That's not strength. That's just teaching them to suffer alone." "Humans are soft," Kira said. But she sounded less certain. "Maybe," Hana agreed. "But we're also still alive. And we're alive because we learned that working together, showing emotion, asking for help, those things don't make us weak. They make us survive." Kira looked at the cubs again. Really looked at them. Tay was standing straighter than he had in days. Minho looked healthier, less stressed. Yuna's eyes were brighter. "You look well," Kira said slowly to them. "The human fed us," Minho said, "and taught us things. And," he glanced at Hana, "and she was kind. She said we were brave," Yuna added. "Even when we cried." Kira's eyes widened. "You told her you cried?" "She saw us cry," Tay said. He lifted his chin, meeting Kira's gaze. "And she didn't think we were weak. She said even warriors need comfort sometimes." Kira was quiet for a long time. Then she did something that surprised everyone. She reached out and pulled Tay close. Then Minho, then Yuna. She held all three cubs against her. "I am glad you are safe," she whispered. "I was so worried. When the attack happened, when I put you in the escape pod, I thought I might never see you again." The cubs pressed close to her. They were crying again, but gently this time. Happy tears. Hannah watched with a soft smile. Then she quietly turned to leave. "Human Hannah," Kira called. Hannah stopped. "Thank you," Kira said. "For saving us?" "All of us," Hannah nodded. "You're welcome." As she walked back to her quarters, Hannah heard Kira's voice behind her, soft and wondering. Perhaps humans are not as soft as we thought. 6 months passed before Hannah saw the cubs again. She was in her laboratory, studying samples from a nearby moon, when her comm system beeped. An incoming message. The sender code was Kalari. Hannah's heart jumped. She opened the message. "Greetings, human Hannah," the text read. "This is Tay. I hope you remember us. I am writing to tell you that Ambassador Kira has recovered fully. We returned home to Kalara safely. Thank you for everything you did. I think about your words often. I hope we can speak again someday." Hannah smiled. She typed back quickly. "Of course, I remember you. I'm so glad you're all safe. You're welcome to visit any time." She didn't expect the response right away. Kalara was weeks of travel from her station. But 3 hours later, another message arrived. Actually, Tay wrote, "We are hoping to visit soon. Ambassador Kira has a proposal for you." 2 weeks later, a Kalari ship docked at Station 47. Hannah waited nervously at the airlock. The door opened. Tay stepped out first. He was bigger now, his mane fuller. But his eyes were the same. Behind him came Minho and Yuna, also grown. And finally, Ambassador Kira, looking strong and healthy. "Hannah!" Yuna bounded forward. She stopped just short of hugging, then glanced at Kira. Kira smiled. Actually smiled. "It's all right, Yuna." Yuna crashed into Hannah with a happy growl. Minho joined in. Even Tay gave her a brief, awkward hug. "Look at you all," Hannah laughed. "You've grown so much." "We are training harder now," Tay said proudly. "We will be warriors soon." "You already are warriors," Hannah said. "You proved that." They moved to Hannah's common room. She served tea and small cakes. The cubs devoured the cakes while Kira explained why they had come. When we returned to Kalara, Kira began. "I did a lot of thinking. About what you said. About strength and weakness. About asking for help." She paused. "I spoke with other ambassadors. Other leaders. Some of them, they have had similar thoughts. They have seen young Kalari struggle. Seen them break under the pressure of always being strong. It is hard," Minho said quietly. "Some of our friends. They pretend too much. They smile, but inside they are hurting." Kira nodded. "We want to change this. But change is slow in Kalari culture. So we are starting small. Very small." She looked directly at Hannah. "I would like to send you students." Hannah blinked. "Students?" "Cubs who are struggling," Kira explained. "Cubs who need a different kind of training. We cannot do this openly. It would cause too much resistance. But quietly, privately, we can send them to you. You can teach them what you taught these three." "I didn't teach them anything special," Hannah protested. I was kind to them." "Exactly," Kira said. "You taught them that kindness is not weakness. That asking for help is wisdom. That crying does not make you less of a warrior." She leaned forward. "These are lessons some young Kalari desperately need. Lessons that might save their lives." Hannah thought about it. Teaching alien cubs hadn't been in her job description. But then again, neither had performing surgery on a dying ambassador. "What would this involve?" she asked. "They would stay with you for a few weeks," Kira said. "You would not train them in combat. You would simply be yourself. Show them human ways. Teach them it's okay to feel, to ask questions, to admit when they are scared or sad or confused. And their families agree to this? The families who send their cubs to me are ones who have seen the cost of our harsh traditions, Kira said sadly. They are families who have lost cubs to suicide, to depression, to the weight of always being strong. They want something better for their remaining children. Hannah felt tears prick her eyes. She understood now. This wasn't just about teaching cubs. This was about saving lives. I'll do it, she said. Tae, Minho, and Yuna all smiled. The first students will arrive next month, Kira said. 2 cubs, a brother and sister. They are very young, very scared, very determined to appear brave. I'll be ready, Hana promised. That night, after the Kalari had returned to their ship to rest, Hana stood in her empty station. She thought about the future, about scared cubs who would come here, walls up, trying so hard to be strong, and she thought about what she would tell them, about how real strength included gentleness, about how true warriors protected not just with claws and teeth, but with open arms and kind words. She thought about teaching them that it was okay to cry, okay to laugh, okay to ask for help. 1 month later, the airlock opened again. 2 small Kalari cubs stood there, a male and a female, barely older than Tae and the others had been. They tried to look fierce. They bared their small teeth. "We are Kalari warriors," the male announced. His voice shook only a little. "We are here for training. We are strong. We do not need anything from humans." The female nodded vigorously. "We are brave. We fear nothing." But Hana could see their tails trembling, could see the fear in their wide eyes. She smiled gently. "Welcome," she said. "My name is Hana. You must be tired from your journey. I made dinner. Would you like to eat?" The male cub looked at the female. The female looked back. They were clearly hungry, but didn't want to admit it. "It's okay," Hana said. "Warriors need food too." Slowly, very slowly, they nodded as Hana led them to the dining area. She thought about Tae's last words to her before he left. He had pulled her aside, looking serious. "You changed us," he had said. "You taught us that there are many kinds of strength, not just the kind we learned on Kalara." "You were always strong," Hana had replied. "Yes," Tae had agreed. "But now we are strong enough to be gentle, strong enough to help others, strong enough to hug." And then he had hugged her, properly this time, without hesitation. Now, watching these new cubs try to hide their fear, try to act tough, Hana knew what she had to do. She would feed them, talk to them, show them kindness. And when the moment was right, when they were ready, she would open her arms, and they would run into her hug, just like Tae and Minho and Yuna had, because that's what brave cubs did. They tried to be strong. They tried to be courageous, but in the end, when someone offered safety and warmth and love, they did the bravest thing of all. They accepted it. Hana smiled as she set food on the table. 2 small cubs watched her with suspicious eyes, ready to run or fight. But by the end of the week, she knew they would be smiling. They would be laughing. They would understand that showing emotion wasn't weakness. And maybe, just maybe, they would change Kalari culture 1 hug at a time. The future was uncertain. Change would be slow. But it would happen, because sometimes the strongest act of all was teaching others that it was okay to be vulnerable. And humans, soft as they might seem, were very good at that.